Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. We are going to jump right in. This is the last show of the month, and typically, it doesn't always happen, but typically I think about it as a time to try to cover as many questions as possible. So if you, we should have plenty of time for questions today. If you have those, then feel free to start asking them now. All you got to do is jump into Twitch chat and type the word question, and then follow that with the question itself. And I will cover as many as I can get to at the end of the stream today. But as always, we're going to talk about what we're working on. So, what is currently on the plate that we are gobbling up at a rapid clip right now. We are going to talk about what is upcoming. So that is the stuff that is, on deck, ready to be, placed on the plate. And we are also giving away a Vampire Nexus Ultimate Bundle here today. So good luck to everyone. Pay attention to the prompts in chat for that. This is an awesome, product. We've got, exciting times coming for Vampire here soon, as we have started, piloting with Pathfinder with the character tools. Avatar and Vampire are on the way, and so really excited to be able to have a clear path to really go in and finalize what's going on with those two games as well. But you can potentially win a Vampire Ultimate Bundle here today. So jumping in here, if you have been, living under a rock, or this is your first time coming to a dev update, or whatever else, we do have our character tools open beta that is live now. So it went live last. It's only been a week. So it went live last Tuesday, and it's been a big long week for us, and but things are really off to a great start, and I think that is a really key thing for me to continue to iterate here. It's been a lot of work and effort to get to this point, and we had a nice long holiday weekend to kind of reflect on a big journey. But then now we are ready. That was a Rivendell for us, and we are setting off to find Mount Doom. And so all of that, is a great starting point for us. There's a lot more to come from there. Very, very excited about the days ahead. But you can check that out at pathfindernexus.com. So jumping in, speaking of Pathfinder Nexus, most of the latest updates, current development is going to be focused on that today. But if you did miss it last week, Stolen Fate, the new installment of Stolen Fate, and the Enmity Cycle standalone adventure are now live on Pathfinder Nexus. We're working on High Helm and the Hero deck. The character tools, as I said, we've got the open beta. One of the chief things that we have focused on here for this first week is pouncing on bugs. So you've been reporting things as you come across them out there, and then we have been jumping in and addressing them. And this is incredibly helpful when you are doing this, when you're helping us test like this. And so we're really focused on any of the reports that are coming in. We're collecting all the feedback. Just because we don't necessarily act on feedback doesn't mean that we aren't reading every single bit of it, and we're reviewing it, and we're parsing it, and we are we're kind of aggregating what that feedback is to make decisions based on it. So thanks for all of that here in the open beta. We're also focused on kind of our short-term beta roadmap. I'm going to cover that in a little more detail in a moment. And then we do have a new theme, I think, that is going out today. So there is an Arcane Power one out there. There's going to be one of these themes for each of the four traditions of magic, and this new one is Cult Mysteries. So that's going to go out today, and I'll show that off a little bit. It's not live yet, but I can show you a little bit about that. So here. I'm not sure if you're seeing. Yep, sharing now. So this is Occult Mysteries, and so as with all of these, kind of enhanced themes, we've got a little bit of animation going on, but ultimately, this is the place where, if you are playing an occult spellcaster, hopefully this theme will resonate with you here, and you can use this. Or even if you're not, and you just are a master in occultism skill, or whatever else, this could absolutely work for you. One of the things here is with our planchette here. This is a little kind of subtle animation going on with our ability scores here, but it also can double as a way for you to resolve something, almost magic 8-ball style while you're at the table. So, if there's ever something that comes up and you want to, determine the answer to something, then you can just look at your ability score section and wait for, the next thing to start and cycle through. And this is telling you, an answer here if you'll have the patience to wait on it. So it can maybe, double as that for you as well. So I think Divine will be next. It's going to kind of depend on, what mood I'm in, to be honest. But I think Divine will be next, and then we'll wrap things up with Primal when it comes to these themes. All right. Back now here to there is a sale going on now, so this is a great time to jump on board, not only because the open beta for character tools is out there and available, but we also have 20% off rule books and Lost Omens books right now. You can use the code PF2 characters at checkout to secure that 20% off. And regarding the remaster project, lots of information and news coming out of the weekend's pyzocon online. Some great stuff on the way with the different core books that are going to be coming out a little bit later this year, and those are available for pre-order now on Pathfinder Nexus. So people have been asking about that. They are available for pre-order now. You can check it out, and we're going to keep. We get several questions about this, and my answer has remained consistent throughout. That hey, how is this going to work when the remastered content comes along for Pathfinder Nexus? And our answer is that we can't really say yet, because we would never make a proclamation like that without seeing the final content. And we haven't yet seen that. We should be seeing it pretty soon here, but we haven't yet seen that. So we don't know, the full scope of the changes. Once we see that, we will be able to go in and make sure that we're confirming exactly how the approach is going to be for Pathfinder Nexus's handling of the remastered content. One of the things that I will say is, at least from a principle standpoint, and an approach standpoint, is we are not going to be removing anything that anyone owns. So anything that you own, currently with the current core rule book or anything else, you will absolutely still have access to all of that. We are going to, likely use some kind of, filtering, capability to be able to, pare things down to the new core content versus, and I don't know if this is the term we'll use or not, legacy content. So all of that, we are going to be doing everything that we possibly can to make that as seamless of a transition as possible. And we definitely are not going to be removing content or, forcing you and your groups to play using, one or the other. It is definitely going to be an inclusive thing that you are going to be able to use any of those things. But again, we can't quite talk about what the full details and the specifics of that approach, because we're going to wait to see exactly where the dust settles on all of it before we do that. All right. On the beta short-term roadmap, as I talked about before, two of the big priorities that we are, kind of looking at, starting last week, but then into this week, is we acknowledge that performance is not where it needs to be, and so we're certainly looking at performance. And I've talked about before that when you are making things, a lot of times you are trying to make the thing in the first place. And then you are able to then come back and really focus on making the thing right. And so we are certainly starting off that process of making sure that things are optimized and tweaked to where they need to be. Just kind of, to throw this out there to all of you, we're not worried about this. Like, we know that there are plenty of things that we haven't touched yet with performance that we will be able to tweak that will make performance, dramatically better. And so we are kind of starting that process. So you'll see some of those updates here in the early stages of the open beta. And honestly, the testing that we have in the open beta is a big part of that. It helps us, kind of narrow things down to where it gives us the data that we need to understand where performance is being impacted. So all of that is underway. And then non-Chrome browser support. I joke sometimes that I don't know why anybody uses anything other than Chrome, but I know that there are some of you that do that out there. And so we are, we haven't been focused on that throughout the alpha, but here in the early stages of the beta, we're going to start, taking a deeper look at Firefox, because I know that we have some issues there. There are times where I just wonder, like, why can't they, all work the same? But they don't. And so we're going to go in there and we're going to unwind where all the issues are, and we're going to start addressing some of the browsers outside of Chrome here in the early stages of the beta. As I've talked about before, we have Homebrew coming, exporting to PDF. Those are important things for us too. You're going to see more with formulas, familiars, and animal companions. Before too much longer. That's another thing that's on the short list here. We've got some equipment support with containers and bulk, and something that I don't have listed here, the ability to purchase items versus simply adding them to your inventory. All of that will be in there as well. And then things like editing shared character sheets. So this is kind of the snapshot of what is on the radar here in the short term, and what we're going to be chasing down. The Claw Firm had its first episode last week. The VOD for that episode, I believe I saw that went out. Yeah, it went out yesterday. And so if you haven't seen this show yet, it is incredible. I'm a big fan of this cast and everything that they're doing. So check that out. The second episode, you've got time to catch up on that first episode before the second episode airs on Wednesday. All right, giveaway time. If that hasn't already happened, honestly, our moderators and folks that work in the community, we've got this incredible team, and I just let them do their thing. So I think that maybe a giveaway is probably happening around now, and I'll look at chat here in a second when we get to questions. But good luck to everyone out there in the giveaway. On the upcoming front, as I mentioned, we've got additional features that will come to the open beta, even past what we're talking about on the short-term roadmap that I just covered. We got Rage of Elements. I love this book. Had some, teasers and reveals about that at pyzocon this weekend. And as I mentioned, the remaster project, as soon as we see that content, we're going to jump on it and make sure that we have everything supported there. 5e Nexus, we've got this one on there still. We're probably just a couple of weeks away from being able to share more on what is going on with 5e Nexus for early access. Very excited about that. And then on the character tools front, we've gotten this question. This is our short list of games that we are tackling next. And, again, I can't fully tell the future. So Barring anything catastrophic happening to our world, like all of us losing electricity, revolution style, or something like that, um, we should be seeing Avatar and Vampire and even Marvel coming, at a much more rapid clip. So, this is not going to take us months and months and months like it has here to pilot with Pathfinder, because all of that heavy lifting of getting the platform in place was what was going on. So it wasn't that we were just working on Pathfinder during that time. So as we start to, put the things together, and the final touches on Avatar and Vampire and Marvel, and then other games that we support, 5e and everything else, as we get into the back half of this year, you're certainly going to see those come, sooner rather than later, at least comparatively. But we're really excited about that. It shouldn't be too much longer before I start showing off what is going on with those couple of games. And I've seen this question out there a few times as well. And if you're out there asking that right now on our question bot that is capturing it, then I apologize for preempting you, but I'll just skip that one when I get there. But I've seen the question of, why are you bothering to create a character builder for Pathfinder when there are things out there that exist that already cover that and do that capability. And so a couple of things that I would say in answering that: we believe that we're going to have the best character management experience that there is out there for Pathfinder. So I'm not saying that it is yet, but we believe that that is what it's going to be, and we're going to keep working until we believe that we are there. And so completely understand that there are other tools and capabilities out there that can do this. We are going to provide something that is great for this. The other thing that I also will say is that we are not just supporting Pathfinder. So we are going to have dozens of games that we are going to be supporting with character tools. And that is going to be a really powerful thing, to be able to come to Demiplane and visit a nexus of the different games that you are playing, the different games that you're trying out, and having all your stuff in one place and having all of your characters in one place. It's going to be a really powerful thing. And it's something that is going to be hard to see right now, because we're supporting one game with character tools. But by the time we get 5 or 6 of these games in place, it's going to be something that we can revisit, and we can say, oh, isn't this nice? And so really excited about these other games that we're starting to jump into as well, in addition to continuing to polish and fine tune what is going on with Pathfinder. All right, I think that is time for questions. So I see several coming in. If you have any others, then feel free to ask those now, and I will cover as many as I can get to. So let's see. St. Dormatius, what did you think of pyzocon and the response from the broader Pathfinder community to Nexus and open beta? I feel like you're trying to get at something with the question, but you're leaving it to me to read between the lines. And so I will possibly put out there what I would suspect that we're trying to ask or talk about here. Ultimately, I think that with the Pathfinder community, we certainly see some of the very opinionated and strong response, and it's going to fall into love it or hate it type camps. And one of the things that I'll say is that this is like just another day in the office for me when I start seeing that. For the last several years, I lived through that in the past life. The response to that other tool set when it first emerged, wading into Reddit was like walking into walking out in front of a military fort and they've all got their guns trained on you. It was a harrowing experience. Back then to walk into any of those places because the best that we could really hope for at the beginning of that was apathy, and the worst was much much worse than apathy. And so what I will say is that this is several years later now. We are making something that I think is better, and is certainly going to be better. And so the response so far has been a very pleasant surprise, being perfectly honest. There are always going to be parts of any community where echo chambers develop, and everything else. And there are going to be sociological responses to many things where when those echo chambers do develop, there are going to be preferences that a lot of times groups share and everything else. So this response has actually been really, really good because we're not at best getting apathy from people. We're getting a lot of love out there, and it's really wonderful to see. And I think that there are many people out there in the community that are starting to get a shared vision for where this is going to go and what this is going to be down the road. And so that's really, really encouraging to see, especially compared to like I said, that past life where it was really hard to find any ray of sunshine popping through that. So we've got plenty of sunshine here, and at the end of the day, any other kinds of responses are something that I understand, and I've seen this trajectory happen before. That if we just keep focusing on what we are doing and making a great product and a great digital tool set that brings more and more convenience to these games, then I'm very confident that we're going to win hearts and minds. And so the focus for us is not trying to really combat any kinds of opinions that form or anything out there, because really at this stage, anything that we say is going to be empty words. We have to just go out there and prove what we're about and what we're doing. And so we're in the process of doing that. We're right exactly where we want to be. And having said all of that, the response in week one of the open beta has been overwhelmingly positive. Our company is doing well, all of those things. So there is cause for a good bit of celebration on our side. And again, we are just going to keep our head down, and we're going to continue to work on this to make it everything that we want it to be. And we're confident that if we get there, then it's going to do what it needs to do, and it's going to accomplish what we want it to accomplish. All right. Molly J. Any chance we'll see Nexuses for Darrington Press, Candela Obscura, and or Daggerheart? Nothing to share at this point in time, but we certainly we certainly like what Critical Role is doing, and we'll see what happens in the future here. We'll share more as we are able to when it comes to that. Calexis 1986. Are you looking forward to the new Critical Role system? Oh, here we go. Another one that Candela Obscura is using. And will you be trying it out maybe on a streamed game? Yeah, I don't know about the streamed game part of that, but we will see how that goes in the future. Isenbirth. When will the Vampire the Masquerade character tool builder be out? So can't tell you any specifics. I will say that again, unless all of the electricity grid in the entire world dies between now and then, some catastrophic dystopian event, then I cannot see this not being out before the end of this year, for instance. Like that's just absolute worst case. But I believe that it will be considerably ahead of that. Like I think that there's a strong possibility for it being completed, before the end of Q3. But we're going to keep you posted on all of that because we've got to, in software development, you can't really always tell, where the end of when the end of the road is going to come. But we're making progress. We'll share more and more about that. You're going to see a lot more about it now that we have, the first pilot system out into the open beta. The Molly J, if Wizards of the Coast released a revised SRD for the 5e 2024 update under the Creative Commons, will that be added to 5e Nexus? Yeah, absolutely. If that was available, it would absolutely be added to the Nexus. If I was a betting man, I would not put any money whatsoever on the fact that those updates would be available in the Creative Commons. I think that is extending far too much, faith in what's going to happen there. I do not believe that we will see that, but if we did, we absolutely would incorporate that into, the 5e Nexus going forward. Manuel J. Solus J. Are rolling dice animations something that might happen on the character sheets? Yeah, I think that might happen. Lone Wolf 360. Will there be a way to filter out locked content so it only shows what we've actually unlocked? There will be, at some points. Right now, as we are starting out, we have, an issue. So, first of all, one thing that I would offer out there that this is truly a much more glaring issue for Pathfinder than it is for any other game that we support. And so it is it's very much brought on by Pathfinder because Pathfinder has 70 something books on Nexus already. And other games are, paling in that quantity comparison. And so, as we are taking a look at that, we have a situation right now where we have currently a sources page that is doubling as a marketplace and a catalog, a utility catalog page. And in the future, we will see those start to differentiate. And when we are in a place where the catalog page is able to serve as a catalog, then in other words, like a My Digital Library kind of situation, then when we get there, there are going to be those kinds of things, and to a large degree, that problem should go away. And then when there's a dedicated marketplace, that's where you go to unlock the other dozens of books that might be available. So it's definitely something that would happen at some point a little bit down the road. Link Cable. As a D&D player moving over to Pathfinder 2E, what are subclasses in 2E? Is it a set of class skills, or am I missing something? Somebody might have already answered this for you in chat, but I think like the short answer is there's not anything that's directly synonymous with what you would think a subclass is in 5E, but the different classes have things that are kind of named like a barbarian instinct or a bard's muse. And these are, I think the difference in Pathfinder 2E is as you are selecting these various, expressions of the class, they don't necessarily carry the same, like equal weight between them. So in 5e, a subclass is going to do a lot of heavy lifting, and it's going to be pretty even across the board. It might be happening at different levels, but they're pretty much giving you the same amount of things across the board. But in Pathfinder, not all of those different class features like that, where you're selecting which specialization or which flavor of that class that you're doing, they're not all mechanically the same as far as the weight of what they provide, but they do allow you to continue to customize a character. Really, in Pathfinder, where a lot of that customization comes in is in your feat selection, because you're getting a lot of feat selections, and many of those are class feats that you're choosing that are tied specifically to that class, and that lets you customize what's going on with those options. Like I said, people in chat that might have already answered some of that, and they can probably provide even more than that. Link Cable, today I backed the new Pathfinder video game. What other TTRPGs would you like to see get a new game? Basically, what is your dream game for X series? What other TTRPGs would I like to see get a new game? See, I mean, I would almost go to vampire or werewolf or something like that almost immediately, but clearly those properties have gotten video games in the past, so I won't go there. That is a really good question. I may have to give that one a little bit more thought, because I'm trying to think of something that okay, I'll go here. I think a Forbidden Lands video game. I think Forbidden Lands would make an incredibly good video game. I'll say that. It's part Borderlands probably, but the Mad Max vibe of that game, combined with the idea that what you're trying to do is go out and raid and get treasure and all of that. I think it would work really, really well for a video game. And so I would probably have many of these, but the one that's popping into my mind the most right now, I'll say, is Forbidden Lands. So I think that would be excellent to see. Doug C plays RPGs. Have you checked out Candela Obscura? And if so, what are your impressions of it? I think it's off to a solid start. Spencer Stark is a really great developer and designer, and so I think that the Illuminated Worlds system is in really good hands. And I think Critical Role has naturally changed the industry, and I think that this is an experiment that they're doing that I believe will pay off, and so I'm really optimistic about what it means for the game and the system. And of course the vibe of Candela Obscura itself, with the show, it's definitely got a really good vibe. I think that anything that is kind of spawning out of Talison's mind has a lot of potential. So we'll see where it goes, but I think it's off to a good start. Artemis Themp, did you deploy core to delay my purchase of the rule bundle? No, that was not intentional. Although we do understand that as we are going forward, we are probably going to have to do something with kind of a remastered core bundle, because we understand that some groups post remaster are not going to be eager on picking up the original core rulebook, for instance. They're going to stick to core, and so that's a problem we'll need to solve. Again, once we see the final content and how all that's breaking down, and we determine our approach, we will we will definitely get that completed. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? We are a little bit over time anyway. And so I am going to go ahead and call it there. I appreciate everyone for coming by this week. We've got a flurry of activity happening. There is going to be a build that's going to go out today. So stay tuned in the forums and on Discord for the update notes when that happens. And again, plenty more to come, later this week, as we are getting this open beta kicked off and down the road. We're really excited about all of the days ahead, and I hope all of you have a great week. Join us tonight for the last. We barely snuck one in here before the end of the month, so this is an actual campaign episode of Children of Arete tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. We snuck in before the on the Arete after show that will be next week, and also tonight. Hope Lavelle surprised me with it just one of the most precious things that I think I've ever seen video. So we're going to kick the show off tonight with some new video content that Hope has put together. That is really, really something. So you don't want to miss it. 6 p.m. Pacific, Children of Arete tonight. Have a good week. Later, Gators.